All right, Sean Bormet, another 5 questions. We're coming off of a split weekend. We had a nice bounce back win at Northwestern, won 7 matches to 3. Lost kind of a close one, not necessarily on paper at Minnesota, but lots of close matches. Good wrestling. Let's start first with that Northwestern duel. What did you like that you saw out of the guys?
Um, Definitely starting matches harder, faster, more fight with the hand fight, control ties, better reaction when guys were shooting at our legs, so just better sprawling. Counter offense was better. I just felt like intensity, everything we were doing was definitely better. And really glad to see that. Definitely getting better, definitely making progress. So, those 7 matches, I thought the ones we got our hand raised, some some were a little close, but we gave ourselves more scoring opportunities, and that ended up being the difference. Or in a couple, we actually rode harder too, and that was the difference. And those are 2 things we talk about often. So glad to see those guys make that connection. Then 4 of those matches we had bonus points, which 4 of the 7 wins were bonus point wins. So that was also really good to see. And we actually, we were competitive in a couple of those other matches. So I just felt like the overall intensity of the way we competed was much better at Northwestern. Also had a great Michigan crowd at Northwestern, so that was fun. See a lot of familiar faces,
Alums.
Chicago area alums and
Yeah.
and fans. So it was a great Michigan crowd at Northwestern. Then the next day we left and flew up to Minneapolis. Basically sort of like the North Pole there right now. The negative 31-degree wind chill, so that was nice. Got a good training session on Saturday night, a little bit earlier duel, so sort of adjust the weigh-in, sort of the weigh-in and the weight management strategy a little bit with those earlier duels. I felt like the guys really competed really hard. I mean, it was, that match we lost 7 out of the 10, so we won three really good ranked wins. I thought the guys wrestled and competed really well. In those 7 matches, 5 of them came down to 1 score, and in 3 of those bouts, it was literally the last score. So, again, it sort of goes back. We wrestled a lot of, some high-ranked opponents. I felt like our guys competed really well. But in those closer matches, again, it still boils down to, giving ourselves more chances to score, and when we need to in tight matches, we got to have the ability to ride and be a little more dominant with the ride. So, just continue to focus on increasing attack rate and defending counter scores, and then also just that top position. It's just critical. And as you continue to move through the Big Ten season, you get in the postseason, you're going to be in those kind of matches where, it's going to come down to getting a score, stopping a score, or it's going to come down to riding could be the difference. And those are areas we're definitely making progress, but we still have work to do. We still got to continue to improve.
I wanted to ask you about 2 young guys. First, Dylan Gilcher really gutted one out against Northwestern. Tied it up at the last second, won in the tiebreakers, and then had a nice major decision against a ranked opponent against Minnesota. So, how'd you like his weekend, and how he's coming off an injury. How do you like kind of the progress you've seen week to week?
I just love the intensity he competed with in both matches. I mean, he really, he sort of really got himself dialed in to just compete as hard as he could for 7 minutes in all positions, and actually more than 7 minutes in the Northwestern duel. That was a really wild match. Both higher ranked opponents he wrestled. I don't look at the rankings a lot, but it sort of measures the level of competition. I look at more like individual performance. Is he performing to his potential? Is his attack rate where it needs to be? Is his defense where it needs to be? How's his mat wrestling? So, but in both those matches, he really sort of got tough in some key moments, and and some of those small moments were the difference in the match against Northwestern, and some of those moments helped him separate himself in that score on Sunday against Minnesota. Another good quality win against a fairly high ranked opponent. And for Dylan, those are 2 really good wins. I know from a confidence standpoint, it really just sort of helped and reinforced all the things he's doing, and that they're paying off, and that the progress is being made. And then Bo Mantanona, very similar. I mean, he's still, early in his competitive match count for this year because of that injury that kept him out. But I feel like he's continuing to progress and his confidence is growing from match to match. Two more, again, higher ranked quality wins. And he wrestled really well. He got in a couple sticky situations that he sort of worked his way through on Friday night. And he came out a lot more explosive at the beginning of that match on Sunday against Minnesota and built up an early lead with those really nice duck unders, those really nice takedowns in that first period. So I feel like he's continuing to make progress. I know his goals are high, and he's continuing to do everything he can in these practice sessions to continue to improve, just all three areas and with his tactics. But overall, it was both those guys just continue to make steady progress.
I want to ask about training. We've got this stretch right now where we have 4 duels in 9 days, so that doesn't leave a whole lot of time to come back to the room and work on some stuff. So what are you really emphasizing during this stretch?
Yeah, the biggest thing we're focusing on is repetition. I mean, with that many duels and that many weigh-ins and the travel and some recovery in there so these guys can compete and feel a little fresh when they're ready to compete, there isn't a lot of hard training. Yesterday, Tuesday, was really our only hard combative day where we actually had hard live minutes in. So there's, day before competition, there's a sort of like a cotton drill we do. We hit a lot of areas of concentration, a lot of reps. And then there's also the day in between these duels. If we compete Friday, we have another day on Saturday where we do something similar. And then obviously there's also drilling warm-ups you do on competition day before you compete. So talk a lot about the volume of those reps and just where the focus needs to be on the quality of those reps and sort of the championship mindset and the intensity level you got to do those reps with so that you're making the kind of gains that you want to be making, since you aren't getting those live wrestling, as many of those live wrestling minutes, and all your lives coming from the competition. So you got to simulate and make sure that you're maintaining focus and you're very present in those drills, and your drilling partner is giving you the right looks and the right feels so that you're simulating championship level repetition in everything you're doing. And that's really been the focus since we sort of went on that Northwestern trip.
Yeah. Back at home this weekend, we've got Nebraska on Friday, Indiana on Sunday. What do you want to see?
Fireworks. Controlling ties, increasing attack rate, being ready to counter score when they attack us, ride hard, do the right things from the bottom position with sealing off, finding hands, and getting our being efficient with how we're getting our escapes or reversals. I think Nebraska will be a similar duel. Like it was a really competitive duel with Minnesota and Nebraska. They got a lot of ranked guys also. So I think there's going to be 10 matches that are going to be some really tough, gritty, hard-fought matches, hard-fought wins. So really excited about that duel. And then same thing, Indiana's a much improved team. We've already faced a few of their guys at different tournaments already this year. So sort of excited to see some of those matchups again, some of those matchups in our upper weights this weekend. But biggest thing is just continue to see that excitement to compete, seeing that energy and intensity when the whistle blows, and making sure that the guys are really enjoying. This is our last double dual weekend, so making sure we're getting the most out of it.
All right, Sean, thank you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.